Right, so we have some new information about the M1X MacBook Pros that I want to delve into, and that includes some bad news about the release date, because you might have to wait a few months to get your hands on these new MacBooks, because apparently they won't be launching anytime soon, and instead at the end of this year. And so let's delve into all of the new information, but first, make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumors, and with that being said, let's just tuck in. Right, so major disclaimer guys, this is a leak and also the information is from a source who's relatively new, and so take it with as much salt as you need. Though to his credit, he was the first source who mentioned we would see M1 in the iPad Pro, and this was back in November of 2020, so that is pretty impressive, and especially considering his limited accuracy rating is 81%, I wouldn't completely dismiss his leaks. But anyways, delving in, let's talk about the release date, because of course, this source says the MacBook Pros will be launching in October to November. Now yes, I know some of you might say that no, this can't be right because Mark Gurman said the MacBook Pros were launching during the summer, and so it should be launching way sooner, right? Well, do note, Mark Gurman said as early as this summer, so that means that we could see it during the summer, but also there's a chance it could be later. And so yes, while this information might break some of your hearts, I do think it's pretty likely because as I said in my last video, Apple rarely announces new products during the back to school promo, because if Apple was to release a new Mac that would qualify for the back to school promo, they would release it a few weeks before the promo begun, much like they did with the iMac. Also, do remember that Apple has a ton of stock of existing Intel MacBook Pros that they want to get rid of, and so they're going to use the back to school promo to shift all these MacBooks and basically make way for the M1X models that should be launching at the end of the promo. And well, the promo ends in September, and so the October to November launch does seem very likely. Also, do remember there are many LED supply constraints, and so in my opinion it makes sense that they push back the release till the supply can meet the expected demand. Now some of you may be wondering that if we do see the M1X MacBook Pro in the fall, what does this mean for the M2 Macs, like the new colourful MacBook Air and the base MacBook Pro? Well, I don't think we're seeing all these Macs at one big event, and so if we do see the M1X MacBook Pro at the end of the year, this means the M2 Max will release in 2022 instead, possibly at some sort of March or April event. Anyways, moving on to the rest of the information the source tells us, it's nothing new because they say that number one, we should see the 1080p webcam from the iMac come over to the MacBooks, that's to be expected. He also says the MacBook Pro branding on the bottom chin should be gone too, which again has leaked in the past. And also, to no one's surprise, he says the M1X should have more GPU and CPU cores, which again, we've known about for weeks. Really, there's only one sort of new tidbit, and that's the fact we should see 4 Thunderbolt ports on this MacBook Pro, which does go against what we've been hearing about these new MacBooks, because as we saw in those leaked schematics, we did see 3 Thunderbolt ports and 1 Thunderbolt port being sacrificed for the inclusion of the SD card reader and HDMI port, and so it's pretty interesting that this leaker thinks that might not be the case, and Apple will keep all 4 Thunderbolt ports and also bring back the SD card reader and the HDMI port. So yes, I'm not too sure whether Apple will have space to have all these ports on the Mac, and so personally I would side with the previous schematics we've heard, and I do think we're seeing 3 Thunderbolt ports with these new MacBooks. Anyways, that's pretty much all the new info, but let me know in the comments below, is the fact the MacBook Pros are launching in the fall a huge bummer to you or not? Anyways, thank you for watching, make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumors. Check out the video in the icon above about details regarding Apple's back to school promo, and on that note, I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya peeps!